on, I'm going to record this. All right, some of you guys are using artificial intelligence to solve some of your equations. All right, the reason why I know that is because of the time it takes you to do the problems. You are working at a speed that I would not be able to do. All right, so your IXL is expected to be done without any technology. Most of the problems I even did on IXL myself, and I tried to show you that it really wasn't that difficult to do. All right, so the object is to try to make sure that you understand all of the arithmetic, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, fractions, decimals, everything. All right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go ahead and get started, and I want everybody to make sure that you are showing all of your work when you're doing these problems. All right, now the first couple of problems are just a review of everything that we've done. All right, now if you notice here, there are, I think, like, I decided to make 50 something problems, right? And the reason we're doing 50 problems because you have to have the practice. This is one thing that you have to be good at in order to be good at algebra. Now, when you have a question with a problem, I'm expecting you to speak up just like you would in class also. We've been doing this 2 weeks. We're probably going to be doing this for a lot more weeks, probably to the end of the year. I'm not 100% sure, but you guys got to participate. I'm trying to make you strong for next year. I don't want any weaklings. All right, that means you have to do the work. All right, you have plenty of time to do the work and plenty of time to play. All right, as some of you know, I'm in contact with your parents. If you want to know if you have done work, all you have to do is look on your backpack and see what needs to be done. I don't care if you even turn in late. I care that you're doing quality work. All right, simple as that. All right, what?
I missed one of the IXLs. If I redo it, can I get points back or not?
Yes, I just said, Tucker, that's what I'm talking about. I want quality work. I don't want any cheating. All right, none. I respect you guys too much to let you off the hook. All right, so I'm calling your parents. I'm letting them know what's going on, and I'm expecting you to do the work. If you don't, hold on one second, let me finish. If you're struggling so much, I will even do a private Zoom with you. All right, where I'll sit down and do 3 or 4 problems with you and make sure you're okay. All right, but it starts with doing the work, showing your work. I don't care if you can do the mental math. I don't care how smart you are. All right, I'm teaching you to work backwards. All right, with that being said, before we get started, does anybody have a quick question or anything they want to add?
I do, yes.
Good, go, Gray.
Like every time I go into Drive to transfer over the document,
Right.
I send it into Notability, and then I go into Notability and it's just not there.
Okay, so are you talking about today's assignment?
Yeah, so I go into the Google Classroom, I move it to Drive, and then I send it to Notability.
Okay, so
send a copy.
Did you put it on a different doc? Like, did you put it on something that already?
No, I clicked on Create New Note.
Oh,
okay. So here's what you have to do right now for me, Gray, is you're just going to have to copy it from the board. All right, Eve, go ahead. Tell me something.
Can you add my phone to it so I can go to Notability on my school iPad?
Yeah, how do I do that?
I don't know. It just says it's waiting for the meeting host to let you in.
Oh, okay. Okay, let me check that out. Here we go. I'm going to, I don't know how. Okay, here we go. Admit and admit. Okay, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
All right, Max, welcome, buddy. Sorry. All right, I try to start on time, so if people are late, it's kind of hard for me to jump back and forth between screens. Plus, I'm learning how to do this Zoom. All right, Max, how you doing, buddy?
I'm fine.
I'm glad to hear that. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and get started because I don't want to take all your time up. All right, so I'm going to back to sharing my screen. All right, now if you're having technology issues, Gray, I would recommend that you email, email her. She could help you out. All right,
I think I figured it out. I hard reset my iPad. So.
All right, that's perfect. All right, now again, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start. Oh, Max, I'm seeing you, man. It looks like you got a haircut. Haha, that was a joke, Max. Sorry.
I actually did get a haircut though.
Oh, you did? Wow, I can't even. It doesn't. I didn't notice. All right, so it must not have been too much, but at least you got one. All right, but let's go ahead and get started, guys. All right, I'm glad to see everybody's smiling face. Hopefully, you guys are doing okay. Sorry, I'm trying not to be a pain. I'm trying not to get you in trouble, but my job is to make sure you guys are learning. Okay, and so I'm doing everything I can to make sure I'm doing that. All right. So please do your work. And if you're having trouble, just talk to me, communicate. That's the big key. I want to help you as much as I can. All right. So the first problems here are going to start out easy and then they go hard. By the time we get to 50, there'll be some repeated problems. All right. So let's start. Number one, to get rid of subtracting 5, we add 5 to both sides, obviously. And then we end up with just x equals positive 2. Now, immediately when you don't know something, speak up, all right? I know some of you are like, well, I knew that in my head. I don't care if you knew how to do that in your head, all right? We're not using calculators, all right? You're practicing your math, all right? Now, number 3, how do I undo a fraction that's being multiplied? We say that we multiply by the reciprocal. All right, we multiply by the reciprocal. So what does that mean? I'm going to multiply the left side by 3 over 2, multiply the right side by 3 over 2. So what happens now is the 3's cancel, the 2's cancels, and I'm left with x equals. Now, fractions are annoying. Some of you are great, so I don't have to say this much. But the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take the negative 18, and you're going to divide it by 2 first. So negative 18 divided by 2 is negative 9. Then you multiply by 3. So negative 9 times 3 is negative 27. All right, so those are basic equations. Everybody should be good with this. Anybody have any questions? All right, now this is a...
Can you go back?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm good.
All right, thank you. Now, number 5. All right, this is a positive 1.75. To get rid of a positive 1.75, we're going to subtract 1.75. Subtract 1.75. Now, of course, we're not using a calculator right now, all right, because we're just verifying that you're still excellent. All right, these guys cancel. You're left with x equals. Now it's just a matter of, can you remember? 24 becomes a 23. That's a 10, 5, 6. All right, so we're at 0.65. All right, I know everybody knows how to do that, but it's a good refresher. All right, here we go. Now, number 7, I threw this one on here because it doesn't always work out to be perfect. All right, how do we undo multiplication? We divide. We divide. Now, since 7 doesn't divide by 9 evenly, we leave it as a fraction. So we just say x equals negative 7/9. Anybody have any questions? Anybody have any questions? All right, here we go. Check out number 9. All right, now this was a 2-step equation, so I'm pretty sure we're good with this. All right, now the reason why I'm copying mine real quick is because I don't want the 9 to interfere with what I'm showing you. All right, so again, we get rid of addition and subtraction first. So we're doing a plus 6, plus 6. Then we have 3/5 x equals 9. Now, once again, how do we get rid of a fraction? We multiply by the reciprocal. So this is a 5, and this is a 3, times 5 over 3. Now, the reason why we do that is because the 5's cancel, the 3's cancel, you're left with x equals. Now, let's practice our fraction. All right, 9 divided by 3 first, then times 5. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. 3 times 5 is 15. Now, I appreciate Santa telling me to slow down. All right, if I'm going too fast, y'all just have to say slow down.
Got 3 on the dot.
All right. If everybody's comfortable, I want to move on.
I have one question.
Go ahead. Speak up.
So you flip the reciprocal on the right side, but leave it on the left.
Okay, so let me show you. That's okay. Good question. I'm going to erase the X. So notice what I'm doing here. This 3/5, I take the reciprocal of that number. The reciprocal of 3/5,
Okay.
5/3. So I do 5/3 to both sides. How's that explanation?
Yeah, that makes okay. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Anybody, anytime you have a question, speak up. All right. I know some of you guys are great at mental math. I don't care right now. You got to show your work. That's part of the reason why I'm not doing IXL. All right now, because I want to see all your work better. All right. Show your work. Number 11. All right. Now on number 11, this was something we did last week also, or last class. All right. This quantity is being divided by 7. So I have to multiply both sides by 7. Multiply both sides by 7. And then why is that? Those guys cancel. So now I have x plus 4 equals negative 21. And then I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. And then I have x equals negative 25. All right, any questions?
Mr. Shaw,
Yep.
another thing with the IXL is sometimes it would say like it's a negative, so like just like this one, like 21, negative 21 minus negative 4, but it'll say that it's a positive. Like it won't say it's a negative.
Okay. I'm sorry. Somebody, I don't quite know how to work all this yet. So it looked like someone was trying to get it in the class. All right, but it wasn't the case. All right. So listen, the other thing is, guys, people are asking me questions about problems that I'm not even on yet. Okay. So the other thing is it's very difficult. You're supposed to be working with me. Okay. So keep that in mind, please. All right. I know some of you, if you want to work ahead, but it's better just to listen. All right. Now I'm sorry for that distraction. So Tucker, go ahead.
But no, just something with the IXL, it'll say like when it's supposed to be a negative, it'll say it's positive. So that's where it can mess up sometimes too.
All right. Okay. So again, we're going to take a break from IXL. I'm going to do Zoom Live all next week.
Thank you.
So we don't have to do that. All right. So now here's the new topic. Okay. So if everybody wants to put a star by this was kind of a new topic. All right. So what we're doing here is we want to put variables on one side of the equal side and numbers on the other side of the equal side. All right. And I also try to remind kids I really want the variables to be positive, and I don't really care if the numbers are positive or negative. So I need to collect them. So I've got to put the 3x over here with the 7x. So to do that, I'm going to subtract 3x. Subtract 3x. And then I'm going to put the negative 8 over on the other side of the equation because we've got to separate them. I'm going to put a plus 8 and a plus 8. So now this right here combines to a 4x. This crosses out. This crosses out. And so I have 4x is equal to 8 plus 8 is 16. All right?
Mr. Stroud,
I'm listening.
I don't get why the 3 would be negative.
Well, because I'm going to move it out of the way so I can show you one more time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put the x's together. So I got to grab this 3x and I have to move it over with the 7x. So to move it over, I have to undo it. All right, so this is a positive 3x. So I have to do a minus 3x.
Oh, okay. Thank
right?
you.
You're welcome. All right, now we're going to knock this out. Divide by 4, divide by 4, x equals 4. All right, moving on. All right. Now, this is kind of like a proportion. All right. So this is kind of a new thing also. All right. So anytime you have a proportion, we say you're going to cross multiply. So you're going to multiply those two things together. All right. Now, when you multiply those two things together, it's really 2 parentheses x minus 3 equals, and now I do this. All right. And so now I have 2 parentheses 3x minus 4. All right, so this is a proportion. And you've known since 5th grade how to solve a proportion. I just didn't use variables. All right, so I'm telling you, don't forget, you're always multiplying cross. All right, so that's why they call it cross multiplying. So you're multiplying those two things together. All right, now we're simply using the distributive property. So we can just say 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Equals 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. All right? Anybody have any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
All right.
Where did you get the -6 from? I know you just.
That's okay, watch. 2 times negative 3.
Oh, times -3.
Yeah, there you go.
How do you know when to do the distributive property?
When you're using parentheses,
Okay.
all right? When you have parentheses, we're going to use the distributive property. All right? Now we're at a place where we have variables on both sides. All right, now I need everybody's attention. I always try to teach kids, you want the variable to be positive. So I don't really want to move the x over here because that'll make it negative. So instead of doing that, I'm going to move this 2 on this side. All right, so now watch. If I do minus 2x and minus 2x, that becomes positive. All right, 4x. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 8 to both sides. All right, draw my line underneath it. Now hopefully this will make better sense. The negative 8 and the positive 8 cancel out. The positive 2x and the negative 2x cancel. Now we just combine terms. All right, so now we're looking at -6 plus 8, which is 2. And then we have 6x minus 2x, which is 4x. All right, now the number one mistake that happens is right now. I have to isolate the variable, which means I need to get rid of the 4. All right, so I have to divide both sides by 4. Now what most kids do is they put x equals 2 here instead of x equals, what's the correct answer? Not 2, but what? Come on, somebody speak up.
Negative.
No negative. 1/2. Whoever said 1/2, thank you very much. Pat yourself on the back. All right. Now, again, that was a lot of work. Okay, so I need someone to step up and say, I'm not sure about 15 and show me where I went wrong. Anybody have any issues? All right, because as we go, it's going to get a little bit harder. Okay. So now let's take a look at 17. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Ava was asking me, or was it? Yeah, Ava. There's parentheses, right? So now we have to use the distributive property. So we're going to go this times this, then we're going to go this times this. All right? So now after we do the distributive property, we're going to have negative 6x plus 15 minus 7 equals 14. Does anybody have any questions for that? Nobody? Now the next part, guys. Here, we're going to combine that. All right? So we're going to get negative 6x, positive 15, minus 7 is a positive 8 equals 14. Now we're going to subtract 8 from both sides. And now I get negative 6x equals 6. Divide both sides by negative 6. And so x is equal to negative 1. All right?
I got confused on that one. Where
All right.
do
So show me where. Tell me where.
you, I got confused during the last part where it was 6x equals 6 minus, because
So-
wouldn't you subtract the negative 8 minus 6, which that would be negative 14, or no?
Well, it's you're subtracting 8 from both sides. Do you agree?
Yes.
So now you're supposed to tell me what is 14 minus 8.
Oh, okay.
Good?
Yeah, I just put the subtract 8 in the wrong spots.
All right.
Mr. Strout, after this, are you going to post solutions? Because I need to check my work after, because I'm pretty bad at this.
No, you're going to get better, okay? All right?
Okay.
Wait, what was the answer to the last question?
Negative 1. Okay?
Okay.
Negative 1. You good?
Yeah.
All right. Now, 19 is tricky because we have fractions. All right? So again, I'm going to move the 1/2 to the left side. So I have to do minus 1/2 x minus 1/2 x. Now I have to take the negative 2 and move it to the other side. So I would do a plus 2 plus 2. Now the variables and the numbers are separated. All right? So now I'm going to draw a line underneath it. All right? Once again, these guys cancel out.
Are we gonna have to do the evens for homework?
You're just jumping in and interrupting right now. So 7 plus 2 is 9. Now we have to go and we have to say what is 3/4 minus 1/2. Got to get a common denominator. Multiply by 2, multiply by 2. 3/4 minus 2/4 is, of course, 1/4. All right, that's generally where the problem is. Okay, so this problem right here is what I just did right over here. Okay, 3/4 minus 1/2 is 1/4. So now I have 1/4 x equals 9. Now everybody's
Mr. Stroud, can you slow down a little bit? I'm
Yep.
kind of lagging behind.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Mr. Straw, how did you get the 9?
7 plus 2.
Okay.
All
never
right.
mind.
So no,
Thank you.
don't be never mind. Okay. There's a lot going on. That's what I'm saying. If I'm going too fast, just let me know. I know some of you are working really hard. Okay, so now how do I undo a fraction? We say we multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply by 4/1. Multiply by 4/1. But really, I don't need the over 1. All right? So now I know that these guys cancel. So x equals 36. Anybody have any questions?
Okay. How do you know what step to do next?
That's my question as well. Like,
Well, okay, so the rule is this. The rule is you're supposed to try to put the variables on one side and the numbers on the other. That's your first goal. That's always your goal, is to separate the variables. Go ahead. Do
Mhm.
you have a
How
question?
did you get 36?
Because I did this. Because I did 9 times 4, and then I divided by 1.
Oh, I was doing 9 divided by 4 times 1. That's why.
That's totally okay. That's a common mistake. That's why I always tell kids you're always doing the reciprocal of the fraction in front of the variable. Now, guys, I'm not kidding you. This is going to take time. This is not something we're just going to, it's not just simple anymore. It's getting algebra. It's getting harder. Okay, you got to pay attention. You got to speak up if you have questions. You're going to have to struggle a little bit. All right, here we go, 21. All right, now we have to see parentheses, so we're going to go ahead and do what? Distribute. All right, so I've got a little timer in front of me. Everybody's got 10 seconds. Distribute. Go.
Should we tell you
Nope.
what the answer?
Nope.
Okay.
You're checking your work. Negative 12x minus 18 equals 8x plus 78. All right. Now, if you got that, give yourself a check. Hey, that's good. All right. Now you got 20 seconds to move the variables and move the numbers. And I'm going to see how you're doing. Go. Come on, everybody give it a good shot.
Done.
5 more seconds.
I don't know how to do this.
Okay. Sit down. You don't have
Me
to
neither.
tell us. Just listen. Here we go. All right, now, again, I'm going to make a big note here. Variables equal numbers. I got to put the variables on one side, and I got to put the numbers on another side. All right? So the first instinct is to put this 8x over here. Right? Then I have to put the negative 18 over on this side. So I want negative 8x, negative 8x. Positive 18, positive 18. Okay, so now Sienna, does that make sense so far?
Yes.
Eve, what about you? Speak up, kiddo. Anybody? Oh,
I'm so-
Eve, we can't hear you. That's all right, Eve.
My
We'll get
phone
you.
froze for a second.
All right, so what's up, kiddo? What's the matter?
It's okay.
Max, what about you, buddy?
I'm still a little bit unsure on how to do this.
Okay, so I'm gonna finish 21 up, and then I'm gonna redo it. All right, I'm gonna say it even
All right.
slower. All right, so what I want to show you now is the 8x and the negative 8x do what to each other? Cancel out. All right, the negative 18 and the positive 18 cancel out. All right, so now we combine this. Negative 12 and negative 8 makes negative 20x. And now we come over here, and now we're adding 78 and 18, which is 96. Then what we're doing is we're dividing by negative 20 divided by negative 20. All right, and then these cancel. So now we have x equals negative. Now I have to reduce this fraction. So I have 96 over 20 divided by 2, 4, 8. Now I can divide by 2 again. So now I have negative 24 over 5. All right. Do I have any questions? Now, I told you I'm going to redo this problem, okay? So now, all right, if you just want to listen, if you write it down, if you want to listen now, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to start over.
I understand.
You got it, Eve? Good. Max,
Yeah.
was that a little better, Max?
I kind of understand it a little more.
Good,
But
good.
yeah.
Number 23 is kind of the same thing.
I
Matt.
just have a question.
Speak up, come on.
How do you do the part where you get the variables on the other side?
Okay, so whenever you move a variable, you have to change the sign. So what does that mean? That means if it's positive on one side, it's going to be what? Negative on the other. If you have a negative and you want to move it, it's going to become a what? A positive.
Positive.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, some of you guys also are changing your names. I notice. I don't know what this is. Yi, Tussle, F. I don't know what that is. You're not allowed to change your names. I have to know who's in the room at all times. All right, so I don't know what this is. Y-E-E, Tussle. All right, and I'm about to kick you out.
It was Jack.
I mean it, guys. We're not playing around. These are strict rules. People are doing dumb things on Zoom. All right, and I'm afraid something's going to happen, and I'm going to be the one in trouble. Okay, you have to have your name up there. All right, no playing around. These are very strict rules. All right, I don't want anybody in trouble. Okay, so I said I was going to redo this problem. So I'm going to redo this problem just to make sense, make sure. Now, for those of you guys, if you understood 21, just try 22. All right, because that's going to be homework. All right, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to redo 21. All right, first step, multiply by -3. So I end up with negative 12x minus 18 equals 8x plus 78. Subtract 8x because I'm combining variables. Then I'm adding 18. Now, this together right here is negative 20x. This canceled. This canceled. And then this we combined to make 96. Then we divide both sides by -20. And so then x, I don't want to do the reducing the fraction anymore, but it's -24/5. All right. All right, so a little bit better each time. A little bit better each time. All right, so now let's look at 23. All right. So now you should feel a little better. Remember, I want my variables on one side and my numbers on one side. So I'm going to take this 7x and I'm going to move it over with this guy. Then I'm going to take the -3 and I'm going to move it over with this guy right here. All right. So now what happens? I have to add 3 to both sides, subtract 7x. All right, now before I go any further, who can tell me if that's a problem? Sienna, you getting the hang of it?
Yeah, I'm
You-
getting the hang of it.
How's that?
I got it now.
All right, Max, are you feeling a little better?
Yeah, I'm feeling a little better.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Shaw, my
lots
question,
of practice. Go ahead, Tucker, I'm listening, buddy.
my question is like, how do you know like which number you're gonna take and like say, like how do we know like it can't be 2x that we're trying to get rid of to get?
Well, we could actually move the 2x over to the right side if we wanted to.
Oh, so it doesn't matter which number you take that has the variable?
No, you can do this. Variable equal numbers or numbers equal variables. That's your choice.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
All right. So now we're going to go ahead and kind of combine terms. So this right here, -5x. This right here cancels. This right here cancels. And then negative 5x equals 15. Divide both sides by negative 5. So x equals negative 3. All right, how are we doing, guys?
Better.
All right,
Good.
good. Lots to
This
go.
one doesn't really make that much sense to me.
Which one?
Where did we get the 3 from? Because like the 12 disappeared, and I'm just a little bit confused about that.
Okay, so here we go. Watch this. Read this. 12 plus 3. 15.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
All right, good.
I was just like, I didn't see that. Thank you.
Everything is perfect. All right.
Wait, can you go back up?
Okay.
Mr. Strauss,
Yes, ma'am.
Bella is telling me to tell you to let her in because her iPad is glitching.
Oh, okay. So I have to go back. Thank you so much. I gotta stop sharing so I can get into okay. Hey, sorry, Bella. So sorry, kiddo. All right, so back to sharing. All right, guys. All right, here we go. Carry on. Look at 25. Now, remember we have a proportion, so we're gonna cross multiply. So we're gonna do 5, open parentheses, 2x plus 1 equal, and then I'm gonna cross multiply this way. 3 parentheses 3 minus 2x. Anybody have any objections to that? Now we have to distribute, please. 10x plus 5 equals. All right, hold on. Someone else is trying to get in.
Jack, can you mute your mic? It's just making a ton of background noise.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah, I don't know what's up. I do not know. All right. Sorry, guys. All right.
My iPad doesn't charge, so I don't know if it's gonna die or not.
All right. Well,
You can go to the Zoom on your phone.
just listen. You're allowed to, this is being recorded. I'm going to put it right on the internet. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
That's not, if something happens, I understand. All right?
Okay, bye.
Now, again, we're going to get this right here. We're going to add 6x to both sides. And then I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. So now I have 16x is equal to 4.
Mr. Shaw,
Yep.
how did you get the 10x plus 5 and 9 minus
Because
6x? Like, how did you get that?
I distributed, Tucker, 5 times 2. 5 times 2 is the 10. And then I did 5 times 1, which is that 5. And then I did 3 times 3, which is that 9. And then I did 3 times that negative 2x, which is that negative 6x. All right?
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So now I got to finish up. Divide by 16. Now notice that's a fraction 4/16. So we would say x.
And reduce it.
Yes, x equals 1/4. All right. Anybody have any questions?
I thank you, Mr. Shaw.
Oh, you're very welcome, Tucker.
Can you do that one again, but slower? I kind of got lost in the middle.
Where did you get lost at?
Just, I can't remember. I just lost track of.
Well, what about this right here? Do you know how to do the distributive property?
Yes.
So my question to you is, do you know where this came from?
Yeah, that came from the distributive
That
property.
is exactly right. Exactly right. All right.
I think
So,
I got lost after that.
okay. So now it's just a matter of moving the numbers, right? You want to move the numbers together. So the 5 is going to go with the 9. So you subtract 5. Then the negative 6x has to go with the positive 10x. So I have to move that to the other side by adding 6x.
Okay.
All right.
Mhm.
So now I have 16x equals 4. Divide both sides by 16. X equals 1/4. All right.
Right.
All right. So here we go. Let's knock out 27. Okay. 27. I need everybody to put a star on. Sean, this is for you. All right. I want everybody to look at this and say, this one looks weird because it says 3x minus 12 equals 3x minus 12. I want everybody to write down, this is called an identity. It's called an identity, which means that no matter what number you plug in, 3x minus 12 is always going to equal 3x minus 12. So we say the answer is all real numbers. We say all real numbers. All right, you have to look at that and say, wow, that's weird because 3x minus 12 always equals 3x minus 12. But it's an identity and it's all real numbers. All right, now there's something else I want you to make yourself a note of right here, right? I'm going to show you when something has no solution. Something has no solution when it doesn't make sense. For example, when does x equal x plus 1? Well, a number can't be itself and itself plus 1. So this symbol for no solution is a 0 with a line through it. That means no solution. Now somebody like, well, maybe I'm not going to recognize that. Okay, so if you don't recognize that, look, there'll be a contradiction. So what that means is when I subtract x from both sides, notice what happens. This cancels and this cancels. So you have 0 equals 1. We say that's a contradiction. That cannot happen. 0 is never equal to 1. All right. So these are our two really new topics: no solution and all real numbers. All right. Now, how can you remember all real numbers? You can remember all real numbers if you say 3x minus 12. And then let's look what happens. If I subtract 3x from both sides and I add 12 to both sides, everything cancels out and you end up with 0 equals 0. Well, when does 0 equal 0? Always. All real numbers. Okay? So again, nice little problem. All right? You got to make yourself a star, make a little note. All right? You're getting smarter. All right? You're going to come up with some weird things. Those are two things that are kind of a little bit harder than the rest. All right? Because you have to be observant. All right? Now I only have a few more minutes, so I got to get through as much as I can. All right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal here. All right, so I multiply by 5 divided by 3 times 5 divided by 3. All right, now once again, these cancel. X equals, now what did I tell you to do first? You always divide first. So 21 divided by 3 is 7. 7 times 5 is negative 35. So this, negative 35. All right, everybody good with that? Any questions? All right, let's look at 31 now. All right, so to solve this, we're going to add 3.75, add 3.75. Draw a line underneath it.
Mr. Stroud, can you go back? I didn't.
Yep, yep. How's that?
It's good, thank you.
Okay, so now what happens to these? They cancel, right? And so x equals, now when you line up the decimals, 5, 1, 6, 6.15. All right. Now 33, all right. Have to divide both sides by -9. Divide by -9. These guys cancel. And so x equals 0 divided by anything is 0. Right?
Why would you divide it by -9 and not 9?
Well, because you always divide by the number in front of the variable. The number in front of the variable is -9, not just 9.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, all right, 35. Here we go. Adding 6. Adding 6. 7/8 x equals 2. All right. Multiply by the reciprocal. 8/7 times 8/7. All right. Then what's going to happen is the 8's cancel, the 7's cancel. X equals. Now, again, this is like 2/1. 2 times 8 is 16. 1 times 7 is 7. So your answer is 16/7. All right. Now, I just noticed. Go ahead. I just noticed the time, guys. All right. We've been almost for an hour. All right. Now, here's what the deal is. All right. I want everybody to pay attention. All right. What we're going to do is I want you responsible for the rest of the odds. I want everybody to try the rest of the odds. All right. Just do the rest of the odds. All right.
The rest of the evens.
So no,
or the
no
odds?
evens. We just do the odds. We don't do the evens.
You're just not listening to me. All right.
I just wanted to make sure because I don't want to get it wrong or something.
I know. I'm trying to make myself clear, guys. I'm really trying to make myself clear. All right. So again, I think a good idea would be for us to do 37 through 51 odds. That's all I want. I'm in the next class. I'm going to do the evens. All right.
When do you want them to be due?
Oh my good. You just keep interrupting me.
Sorry.
All right. So I want everybody to do the odds. All right. Now, the hardest part right now is to look at the odd problems that you thought you had trouble with and try to redo a couple of them. All right. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? All right. I want everybody to finish these, and I want you to submit these answers I don't know, by the next class. All right. But the thing is, guys, I really and truly need you to make sure that you're understanding what I'm saying when I'm doing these problems. So I really don't want to assign IXL. I really want you to just practice and make sure that you understand how to do the odds. All right. And what I will do is I'm going to stop right now the video, and you guys are going to work on the odds. And then once you get it done, you can submit it to me. And then I'm going to grade 2, 4, 6. You have what? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 problems left.
8 questions.
Right. And aren't we supposed to go until 3:30? Yeah, I think we're supposed to go to 3:30. So listen, here's what I'd like for you to do. I'd like for you to try the last 8 problems on your own and then submit it to me. And then I'm going to grade it, and I'm going to show you where you made your mistakes. And if you're not happy or you're confused, I can kind of walk you through some things. All right. Then on the next class, we will do the evens, and I'm expecting us to do them at a quicker pace. Is everybody with me?
Okay. Bye.
Does everybody understand that? All right, guys. Thank you so much. You guys
Sure.
were great.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw.
Have a great rest of your day, guys. All right, you
You
guys.
too.
Thank you.
Mr. Stroud.
Bye-bye, guys. Get to
Bye,
work. Get to
Mr.
work. Get to
Stroud.
work.
Hey, Mr. Shaw.